Lightcolorshadow with a re-review of Nikon's D850 after 12 months of use. You want to hear a short and precise conclusion? Then let me say, this camera is just excellent. But one thing after another. Are the 45 megapixels necessary? There are not. But you get very used to it and comfortable with every shot you take, and in combination of the dynamic range, you get brilliant results. The details, what this sensor is capturing, and its low native ISO performance of 64 is for landscape and any other kind of scape fantastic. Here are some examples which I took the last 12 months. I made a lot of photos with exposure bracketing to merge them to a HDR shot to get the full spectrum of lights and shadows of every situation. That means that most of the time the camera was mounted on a tripod, but that's typical for landscape photography. You have an excellent display to judge the composition, and what is even better is the viewfinder. What I did the last times during shooting is to turn off the display and just use the viewfinder. Thanks to the great magnification, I could concentrate even better on the subject and was better isolated from disturbing things or could recognize them better. What also led to this high quality shots is the fact that I only used excellent glass. I also made some macro shots with a budget Tokina lens, and it performed also really well, and the D850 is pretty good at uncovering the flaws of a lens. So what I can say is that you should be able to afford expensive glass to get on this level of quality. I also could make some panoramic photographs. By far is this the best here. The Milky Way over Würgen Valley and a small village in the Austrian Alps. This is made out of 6 exposures which were stitched in Lightroom, and it has a resolution of 84 megapixels. And of course there are some other panoramic shots. And then we come to a critical point. The weight. The D850 is a heavyweight even without a battery. And with the grip it becomes heavier. Plus the lenses you carry with you and maybe a second camera, the number on the scale gets bigger and bigger. And that is one point which should be considered on every tour, trip and so on. I'm not a big fan of compromises, so which lens should I leave at home or how much water should I put in my hydration bag? So photography can also be a nice workout, especially when you are in the mountains. Anyways, this is a very specific disadvantage and especially a self-generated problem. What I have become very fond of are the Illuminating Buttons. This is a huge feature and so helpful. I shoot often during sunset or sunrise and blue aura, and when it gets darker and darker, you can still use the camera without a flashlight. Then this is just a blessing. What also is just wonderful is the reliability. The battery runtime for a camera of this size is really well, and worst case scenario I get by on 2 batteries a day. With one day I mean a day in the Alps and shoot there from morning to the evening with exposure bracketing, long exposures and burst shots of animals. I think this is a good result. The weather sealing of the body is also a huge plus. On the stormy and rainy coast of Iceland I had the D850 with the 14-24 mounted and took some really moody shots. The camera took a lot of rain and was zero impressed by it. The lens on the other hand shook from the inside when we were in the warm, but this was gone after 10 minutes. Even in the cold, the D850 performs without any compromises. The battery runtime shortens, but there was no problem with the mirror mechanism or other parts during temperatures under 0 degree. With a battery grip and a big lens, 70-200 for example, the handling is perfect. It's big and heavy, but just right to take pictures with it. Of course, I did some jobs with the D850, for example this sport shot right here. The autofocus was always where I wanted to be, fast and reliable with the right lenses, and even in low light still a workhorse. I also used it at a car race with the Teleconverter 20E in the 3rd generation, and with the same results, brilliant shots with a proper close aperture. So the D850 is not just a still camera, we used it also for filming, and this on a serious level. We filmed a short film for the My Road Reel 2018 short film competition with it, and the quality speaks for itself. The whole footage was recorded on an external recorder in Atomos Ninja Flame in UHD at 30 frames per second, and the color handling was set to the flat profile. Nikon introduced with its mirrorless cameras finally an own log format. I would really appreciate it when N-Log would come to the D850, but I think this is just gonna be a fantasy. Anyway, the video noise performance of the D850 is outstanding. Even in low light, the drawing in the shadows is still easy to see, and all that without visible noise. And I can tell you that I used the camera on a professional job and the client was very satisfied with the image quality. So a log would be awesome for an even more professional workflow and to get every little detail out of the footage. But I can assure it is possible to create serious results without one. And by the way, with our short film Still Believe, we made it among the finalists for Best Drama of over 1600 films. These are the two disciplines in which I have used my D850 in the last 12 months and will continue to use it. There are several features which I didn't use, for example the RAW compression, respectively the other image formats. I only shoot lossless compressed RAW at full resolution. I never used the medium or small image sizes. That could be also a point of critique. The memory requirement of this camera is immense. If I would save the photos in uncompressed RAW, the amount would double its size, but also in a compressed option you have to invest in new storage space. But quality has its price, doesn't it? I'm using the XQD cards from Sony and SanDisk SD cards. A combination of two cards with a capacity of 64GB each costs round about 300 euros, and that's a statement. What I also did rarely used is the focus stacking, but this is such a nice feature. I do not so much macro photography, and when I'm on it I don't have a proper lens for the stacking function. So the 45 megapixels are also great for the tiny things, and the focus peaking is also helpful to find the focus. I don't regret spending a cent on this camera. Yes, it is expensive and yes, it's heavy, but what you get with this device is maybe the best and probably the last SLR camera with such a state-of-the-art performance. In my review about the D850 I already said it. The future belongs to the mirrorless cameras, and it seems that Nikon did a really good job with the C7 and C6. All the other manufacturers are coming up with also great cameras. It's getting very exciting the next few years on the mirrorless sector. If you want more to know about the Nikon D850, you can take a look on my website. There are a lot of D850 shots and of course the review. My YouTube channel offers a lot of other videos like the raw compression settings, the focus stacking and filming with the D850. I'm looking forward to every time I use this camera and I can only recommend it. So far to my opinion of the D850 after 1 year of use. I would appreciate it when you visit my website Lightcolorshadow.com, and of course you can find me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I can also welcome you the next time as a viewer on one of my next videos. That's it, and until next time, bye bye.